live.
Okay. All right.
Okay, we're good. Okay, I'm calling for nominations for board chairman.
I'll make a motion to appoint Keith Rutledge as chair.
Okay, are there any other nominations? I heard the first nomination for Keith Rutledge. Are there any other nominations? As the first nomination for board chairman was Keith Rutledge, I will now ask the clerk of the board for a roll call vote for the first nominee.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Barton?
Here.
Trustee Hall?
Yes.
Trustee Rutledge?
Yes.
And Trustee Reinbold?
Yes.
Please state yay or nay. The first committee nomination for the majority of vote will be elected.
Yay. Yay.
Yay. Yay.
Keith Rutledge has received a majority vote and is elected board chair. I'm now handing the meeting back over to the board chair, Keith Rutledge.
And then switch.
We can do that.
There's that. So you're official? Right here. Okay.
Awesome. I always wanted to do that.
Okay, so there's the extra paperwork. You can hide the gallery.
All right. Next order of business is to elect vice chairman. Do I have any nominations for vice chairman?
I nominate Susan Brown.
Okay. Troy Rambo nominates Susan Brown. Are there any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Margaret Hall.
Okay. We have Margaret Hall. Are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, we'll take a vote or take a roll call. Trustee Brown?
Here.
Trustee Carlin?
Here.
Trustee Hall?
Here.
I'm here.
I'm here.
Okay. Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Brown? Yea or nay? Or, I'm sorry, your vote?
For
Vice Chair?
myself? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, for Trustee Brown, yea or nay?
Nay.
Nay. Okay, Trustee Brown?
Nay.
Okay, Trustee Brown? Okay, and yay.
Okay.
So that's 2, 3?
No, it's 3. It will be,
Okay.
yes. So
Yep.
I will switch with you.
Thank you.
6, let's do this. And put her as vice chair.
Okay. Next, we will appoint a treasurer.
Chair, I would like to appoint Steffi Pavey as the treasurer, our business manager.
Okay.
Or I should say, I would like a motion to appoint Steffi Pavey as business manager as board clerk, or as treasurer.
Okay. Second? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries. Appoint board clerk. Now, this is a temporary assignment, is that correct?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make the motion to appoint Steffi Pavey as interim board clerk as we resolve the issue for board clerk.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. There's first and second to appoint Steffi Pavey as interim board clerk until a new one is chosen. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Okay, trustees review and sign code of ethics.
Chair Rutledge, I would ask that be, the board clerk read that out loud for everyone to hear, the conflicts of the code of ethics for the board.
Okay, so noted. Okay.
You want me to read it or just put it up on the screen?
Please, I think it should be read, Ms. Chair Rutledge, so everyone can hear it.
Okay. When you're ready.
So, Code of Ethics for School Board Members. As a member of my local Board of Trustees, I will strive to improve public education, and to that end, I will. As a member of my local Board of Trustees, I will strive to improve student achievement and public education, and to that end, I will. Attend all regular scheduled board meetings insofar as possible, having read my packet, ensuring that I am informed about the issues to be considered at the meeting. Recognize that the board must comply with the open meeting law and only has authority to make decisions at official board meetings. Make all decisions based on the available facts and my independent judgment, and refuse to surrender that judgment to individuals or special interest groups. Understand that the board makes decisions as a team. Individual board members may not commit the board to any action unless so authorized by official board action. Recognize that decisions are made by a majority vote and the outcome should be supported by all board members. Acknowledge that policy decisions are a primary function of the board and should be made after full discussion at publicly held board meetings, recognizing that authority to administer policy rests with the superintendent. Be open, fair, and honest. No hidden agendas, and respect the right of other board members to have opinions and ideas which differ from mine. Recognize that the superintendent is the board's advisor and should be present at all meetings except when the board is considering the superintendent's evaluation, contract, or salary. Understand the chain of command and refer problems or complaints to the proper administrative office while refraining from communications that may create conditions of bias should a district concern ever rise to the attention of the board as a hearing panel. Keep abreast of important developments and educational trends, research and practices by individual study, and through participation in programs providing such information. Respect the right of the public to be informed about district decisions and school operations. Understand that I will receive information that is confidential and cannot be shared. Give staff the respect and consideration due skilled professional employees, and support the employment of those best qualified to serve the district as staff, while insisting on regular and impartial evaluation of all staff. Present personal criticisms of district operations to the superintendent, not to district staff or to the board meetings. Refuse to use my board position for personal or family gain or prestige. I will announce any conflicts of interest before board action is taken. And remember always that my first and greatest concern must be the educational welfare of the students attending the public schools.
Thank you. pass your homework. to you.
I'll collect them at the end of the meeting.
When you take them, she'll take them down there.
All right, next we move to approve signatories. Current signatories are business manager, accounts payable, superintendent, and board chair.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the signatories as listed.
Okay, any second? Okay, Chairman Hall,
Trustee,
Trustee Hall, first, and then who second?
Trustee Brown.
Trustee Brown, second, or vice chair. Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Firm Public Records Coordinator, Custodian of Records. Someone want to bring that to the floor?
I will bring that to the floor. I will, currently the custodian of records is
Right,
our
point of order.
business, Affirm Public Records. I will make a motion to affirm the Public Records Coordinator, and it is actually Superintendent Branham who then appoints her representative, and I think it has been Steffi Pavey, the business manager.
Okay, we need a second.
Second.
Okay. Did you get that, Steffi? Okay. Okay, all those in favor of Firm Public Records Coordinator, as stated by Trustee Hall, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Okay, next on the agenda is to approve meeting date schedule. I need a motion. Well, we got to bring it to the floor first. Do I hear a motion to bring it to the floor?
I make a motion to approve, bring the approval of the meeting date schedule to the floor.
Okay, second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Trustee Hall made the motion, Reinbold, second. Okay, discussion?
Um,
You want to just leave it like it is?
If that's what you want.
That's what I want.
Okay,
And
okay. The discussion on the floor is, do we leave the regular meetings are typically scheduled at 6 p.m.? No.
And with the May meeting, right now, it has the month of May meeting being at the Priest Lake Elementary School and 6 p.m. And then I would make an addendum to that, amendment to that motion, that we actually create the calendar, which is what we missed, which we haven't done before for the whole year, and have it posted at the locations that we decide where we're going to post it. And I'm looking for that example, but it's
right there.
it's right here.
Okay,
So that would be my second part of it, is that we actually do an official notice of the meetings based on the dates that we decide, the locations and the times, and that it gets posted.
okay. So the motion on the floor is to keep the meetings on the third Wednesday of each month at 6 p.m. with the month of May, we meet at Priest Lake Elementary, and all the meetings here at the district office with the exception of May, and that we post the total monthly schedule up front.
I do have a question.
Yes,
Do we have to have a December meeting?
By code, we do. We are required to have 12 monthly meetings, or we're supposed to have a business meeting every month by code. And then if we shifted it to the week before, like the 21st, as it was an issue this time, if we switch it to the week before, then that's when all the school assemblies, holiday programs are that week. And if we put ours at 6, we most likely will be in conflict with a holiday program. So that is why it's always kind of been that other, shifted a little to that week, that next week, to be able to, so the community and the trustees can attend the holidays and Christmas programs that are being offered at the schools.
okay, does that answer your question?
But the 20th is only
you know, 4 days away from Christmas. A lot of people are already traveling at that point.
We have a obligation we have a duty as elected officials to put our elected position in front of us, not our personal needs. And that's, if we put it back, then we're in conflict with the holiday programs. And I think it's more important for us as a board to show our faces or be present at the holiday programs.
Okay. This sounds like it's two motions. Okay. First of all, the motion on the floor is to accept the schedule. We'll do it, let's do it two ways. The motion on the floor is to accept the schedule as written with the exception of December. Okay, we'll vote on December by itself. So all those in favor of the schedule as noted with the exception of December, please say aye. Okay, those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Now the second, I need someone to bring the second motion to the floor as to what week we meet on in December.
I don't know how to word it, but yeah, bring up the December meeting as to whether we move it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Trustee Reinbold makes a motion to determine which week we meet in December.
I'll second that.
Okay, Vice Chairman Brown seconds that. So all those in favor of leaving the meeting the week of December 20th, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Okay. Those in favor of moving it to the week of, what's the next week?
The 11th?
11th, moving it to the 11th, say
Well,
aye.
it's actually the 13th. It's the week of
13th, I'm sorry.
it's the week of the 11th, but it would be on the 13th
Okay,
of December.
those in favor of moving the December meeting to December 13th, say aye.
I got another question.
What's that?
Why does it have to be on Wednesday?
Because it's
I mean, if we found out if we had our meeting on the 11th, say, it gives us, and that gives them the rest of the week to do the Christmas programs and people can participate.
well,
When are they gonna have their Christmas stuff? That's gonna be probably towards the end of the week.
okay. So, okay, all those in favor of having the meeting on Monday, the 11th, say aye.
Aye.
I have a question though beforehand. Is that going to cause any kind of problems with our business manager and the bills and everything if we're too early?
There will be things that do come up because of the situation. I wouldn't be able to note them in extent at this moment, but there will be things.
Oh. So that's a moot point.
What would be the
So does that, by us moving it away from the 20th, does that cause a problem?
I would have to be
No,
prepared to look over everything and I don't, time-wise, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Okay.
And our week, actually, Chair Rutledge,
Yes.
no, we don't have, this is the 2023 Christmas calendar.
I think created it yet, trustee.
Yeah, they haven't created it. I'm just wondering if it would be the week, if we could do it Monday, the 18th, to give a little bit more, time. If you want to do a Monday, whether it be Monday, the 18th, and then it would have time to collect things, because I'm just trying to look at currently,
Would that cause a problem if it were the Monday, the 18th?
That's closer to the third Wednesday, and so I would say that would be a better.
Okay.
And I do apologize for not being able to rattle off the duties of all of our.
Sure, Rutledge.
Okay, no, that's fine.
I make a motion that we have it on the 18th of December.
Okay. Okay,
Does that work?
there's a motion on the floor for the 18th of December.
Okay,
Any seconds?
I'll second it.
Okay. There's a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. The December meeting will be the 18th. Next on the floor, or need to be brought to the floor, is approved location for posting notices. I need a motion to bring it to the floor.
Make a motion that we consider the posting of the meeting.
Okay, trustee Reinbold made a motion. I need a second.
I'll second.
Trustee Hall, second. Okay, discussion?
Our paper of record has been the Bonner County Daily Bee. By law, I think we have to do that. I know that we have, out of courtesy, paid for a subscription in the Beacon, the River Valley Beacon, but I think the record of, the newspaper of record has to meet a certain subscription, and I don't know if the Daily Bee, or the River Valley Beacon meets that subscription, and so I'll make a motion to have Bonner County Daily Bee be our newspaper of record. Other sites be courtesies, the Beacon, any postings on any reader boards, live streaming, or not live streaming, but any other, I think any other places we put, any other places we put that. But we do need to post it on the doors. I think it's the district office door, and I'm not sure where else. So newspaper of record would be the Bonner County Daily Bee, and then our current postings of the notifications on the doors that we are currently doing it, and the others would be considered courtesy.
Okay, so the trustee Hall made a motion to post the Bonner County, on the Bonner County District Office, and the Bonner County Daily Bee is our newspaper of record. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Reinbold, second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Okay. Next, we need a motion to approve site council appointments.
I'll make a motion to approve site council appointments.
Okay, trustee Hall makes a motion, second.
Second it.
Reinbold seconds. Okay, current appointments are Priest Lake Elementary, Margaret Hall; Priest River Elementary, Susan Brown; Idaho Hill Elementary, Carolyn Barton; Priest River Junior High, Troy Reinbold; Priest River Lamana High School, Keith Rutledge. Are there any changes or recommendations at this point?
None.
Okay, all those in favor of keeping them the way they are, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Okay, approve board committee appointments.
I'll make a motion to bring that to the table to approve board committee appointments.
Trustee Hall makes a motion.
I'll second it.
Trustee Reinbold seconds. Okay, discussion.
I'd like to make a motion for the finance, suspend the finance committee at this time, and if the business manager and the superintendent are good with it, is to first suspend our business committee for a year, and in place have a business work session as the interim, because we are working on the budget.
Okay. And
And then I would also look at, I know that there's a potential conflict of interest under negotiations with trustee Barton. I don't know if that means that I would look at joining you on the negotiations committee, but we also have meet and confer, which could be separated out. We are required to have facilities and maintenance, finance, negotiations, and meet and confer by our policy.
okay,
So I would be looking at separating those out, and maybe being Keith Rutledge and Margaret Hall on negotiations, meet and confer, could maybe be Carlin Barton and Margaret Hall, and then curriculum committee would be Carlin Barton and Susan Brown.
Okay,
And then a transportation, we may need to look at transportation committee. Transportation has a separate director. It should not be put under the facilities and maintenance committee. There's a facilities and maintenance director, and those two actually should be separated.
question, does our policy, our policy allows for expansion?
Yes, it does. And it's, we expanded it with the curriculum with appointments, but we can do an expansion, and I'm trying to see where it is in here, but I did look at it for an expansion if we needed to. And this is policy 1250.
Okay.
So only the board has the authority to dissolve advisory committee it has created. All committees should be reviewed and renewed annually by the Board of Trustees. And we have standing committees of the board may be created. Their purpose is defined by a majority of the board. The board chair shall appoint trustees to serve on the committees. Board committees shall be limited to less than 1/2 of the board.
Okay, perfect.
So,
Okay, so this meets that requirement. So the motion on the table, okay, so we need to fill out the transportation committee. Who wants to serve on that? I'll put myself down as one.
I'll be in there as well.
Okay.
and I don't know, that was just, I didn't know if that worked for negotiations and separate negotiations and meet and confer out, just so there wouldn't be a conflict with Jared. If you were on meet and confer, if Trustee Barton was on meet and confer and not on negotiations, then it would separate, bifurcate, if that relationship. Does that was my that's
Okay,
my
no,
bring motion to the table, is
Okay.
that combination.
And then we're gonna table the finance committee for now because of us looking into the budget.
And the way we would want to say it is that we were suspending the finance committee. In its place, we will have budget work
And I
sessions.
agree with you on that.
So
Okay.
that would be the way that it would be
Do
specified.
we have a second?
I second that.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the motion carries as noted by Trustee Hall. Okay, celebrations and delegations. Do we make a motion to bring it to the floor?
It's not an action item.
Oh, okay. Any celebrations or delegations? Board member reports.
Chair Rutledge, I will give my board member report under 4-day school week and at the research that I did related to 4-day school weeks and the interviews that I conducted of
Okay.
other trustees around the state.
Okay, perfect. The report I would like to point out is I got to spend the morning at the Priest River Elementary with second graders and watch them read. It was awesome. If no one's ever done that before, you have to do it. It's great. Thank you, Mrs. Hopel. Your kids were awesome. And to watch, actually got to watch 2 boys read for the first time. So that was incredible just to be there for that. And I scored points with the girl with the pink glasses because I knew Baby Shark. So, and that's all I have for that part. Administrator director's reports. Any? Okay.
So we can be fast. I gave you a whole pile and she has stuff to give So we won't go over everything now. Elementary, just so much together that we figured. Well, actually, your first one, we're gonna do that one. Yeah.
If you want to set the microphone.
Thank you.
Everyone's awake now.
I'm Susie Lucky, principal of Idaho Hill Elementary and Priest Lake Elementary.
And I'm Lynn Herger, principal at Priest River Elementary.
And that spotlight is something now.
No.
Anyway, we're team tagging this. The handout that I gave you, the second sheet, under what it says Priest Lake Elementary. What I wanted to show you is a sample of our reading benchmark assessment. And in January, it is all benchmarking assessment time to check where our kids are. So I gave you a sample. I wanted you to see that's a reading fluency passage for second graders. And then if you flip the page, there's two passages there, and then there's a vocabulary passage. It's right here, this one. So the children, we asked them to read. This is the assessment that we use. The students, the fluency passage, they read as many words as they can in a minute. And then that gives us a good idea of their automaticity, if they're becoming very fluent reader. And then there's also a vocabulary check that we do with the kids and a comprehension check. So I wanted you just to see a sample. And then it gets harder for the upper grade levels. And then the second, if you flip through that packet until you go through the vocabulary, then the next sheet you'll see a grid. That grid is a scoring sheet. And in our kindergarten through third grade, we hope to have all of our kids master all of their phonics skills. So you'll see that at the top of those columns, all the different phonics patterns, beginning with letter naming and sounds, and then it goes on to short vowel sounds, long vowel sounds, all of those things. So that's a teacher scoring sheet. And then if you flip the page, you'll see what we call the core phonics survey. And so we check all of the students with that, the letter sounds, and on this assessment, if they can't say it, if it takes longer than 3 seconds, we know that they aren't automatic yet. And that's what we're checking. And then if you go further, you'll see nonsense words and real words. And we ask students to read those quickly. And that tells us if they are applying the phonics patterns that we have taught them. So it gets harder as you look down the columns into multisyllabic words. And we hope that all students have mastered those skills by about the end of third grade. However, I will tell you that even some of our 5th, 6th graders, if they're not reading fluently, a lot of times it's a phonics issue, and so we use that to monitor them and help them grow, and we plan interventions to go with that based on what we see. And then we also do math benchmarking and writing benchmarking. I didn't bring a sample assessment for you for that. And then the other piece is that in January, we reteach behavior skills. So that was the first sheet that I gave you. I just wanted to show you a sample of our 3 elementaries. We all have expectation charts that we teach the children so that they know what specific behaviors are expected. And you can see that we put every setting in the building, I think including buses are on there. Is that correct? Yes. And so that helps our bus drivers if they're having an issue with a child that isn't probably major enough for them to be kicked off the bus, but they still need some work, then we can help support that in the classroom. So we use those forms at all 3 elementary schools to teach respectful, responsible behavior. And then on the flip side of that, I just wanted to show you what the tool that we use when a child chooses to not follow the rules. And you can see we have the behaviors listed out into minor behaviors and major behaviors. And we use that as a tool for the kids. I have them actually find their behavior on that form and then tell me what it is. And then there are consequences that can go along with whatever has happened, just like parents do at home with their children. But this is very clear to our students. And then it's a very good guide that we use with our teachers and then as well with our parents. So there's no guessing on how we're going to handle problems when they arise or behaviors. And then it helps us just teach our kids how to do the right thing all the time.
Okay, my turn? Yeah. All right, so taking that assessment data that that Susie shared with you, we do a process called response to intervention. And so we take the data and we decide if the student's level 1, which is at grade level, doing okay. Sometimes may need a little bit of extra support here and there, but normally gets everything that they need. Level 2 is they need a little more, and there's a letter that goes home to parents letting them know what level their child is. And then there's level 3 who needs intensive intervention. So level 2 is 60 minutes and 30 hours for the year, and then level 3 is 60 hours for the year. So that's done with our Title I parapros and our ESSER Fund parapro, and so and our teaching staff. And so kids that are on grade level often during this intervention time will be working on independent work while we're making small intervention groups for the kids and what they need to be what they need to actually support in. And so and we find that data out by using the assessment data that we get from those assessments. And then we also, our grade level teams meet, at my school I have enough teachers at a grade level, they meet every week, most of them meet on Thursday for collaborative groups to also discuss and what are we gonna do. And we also have probably once a month for every grade level, a RTI meeting with a team, and so we find out if interventions aren't working, what's the next step? What are we gonna do to help these kids and move them forward? And so you have that in front of you. I also, because I was so sick in November, I gave you a couple of things. I gave you a November board report just to give you, I had done it in November and didn't get to come and bring it to you. I gave you a January board report, and then I gave you an amazing newsletter. And it was amazing to have Christmas programs again with everybody there. We were standing room only, literally. And so we also want to thank the Priest Lake Nordic Club, who has hosted all of our elementary school 5th grades to go up to the lake. And I want to thank Priest Lake Elementary School for hosting us and letting us eat our lunches in your cafeteria. So it's a very nice program. We this year are going to get to take our 5th graders 2 times, and we're so excited. We have them. We have the stuff. We have the boots, the skis, and everything. And it's just, let's use it and get our kids out there in the environment and get out there. But the Nordic Club does an amazing job. They bring our skis over to the course. They groom the courses. All of that, like. It's actually something I'm looking into doing myself now that I've done it with 5th grade last year. So it's pretty amazing, and I want to thank them. Another exciting thing really quick is Priest River filled our tower again with our Spartan Bucks, and we are having free popcorn from our PTO and hat day tomorrow. So exciting things going on.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Matt?
Sorry, I was hiding in the Shaner's office. Matt George, principal of the Priest River Mount High School. I have one more note to make, sorry. Just couple quick updates. with the loss of our student this past weekend. Things have been pretty tough at high school the last couple of days. I just wanted to let the board know and everyone present, thank you for your thoughts and prayers with our staff, students, and family. We really appreciate that. What an amazing staff I had the opportunity to work for. Students were in classrooms. We kept moving forward. Support given to our students from our teachers was incredible. The way our staff came together for each other was also incredible. Without Ms. Shaner and our crisis team and our counselors, that would have not been possible. We had members of clergy from the community, other community organizations providing counseling help for our students and staff. Every single staff member at the high school also provided at least a close check-in. Mine's tomorrow and Friday, but we are moving forward, and we really appreciate all the support from our community. Quick update on academics. Interim data has come in finally. In math and language arts, we are at or above the state average at all grade levels. It varies by grade level. We are just, if we're not at the state average, we're right there below. And some grade levels are above the state average. Science, we're the only school that took it, so we are at the state average in science for the interim. So that's a little disappointing that we're the only. I mean, it's good for us that we're actually using that tool. Hats off to our teachers that took the opportunity to use the tool provided from the state, but it's also disappointing when you can't compare yourself to the districts across the state as well. And on a positive note, we had the first annual Battle of the Border against our rival, the Grizzlies, across the state line, and we whooped them, both in basketball and with the spirit competition, so go Spartans on that one. So again, thank you to everyone in the community for providing support for our students, staff, and family. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it? Okay. Superintendent report.
Do you want this now? Is this now or is this later?
No, this is now. Okay. Thank you for being here. I didn't get to this. If you came to the community forum on Wednesday, my time ran very short and I did not get to talk about the strategic plan. I needed to get Mr. Lambert on the stage. I told him we pressed for 6:30 and I think it was like close to 6:45. I'm like, okay, I gotta just make this really short. So it was very, very brief, but I'm glad you're here. I will also be presenting this in full detail with the complete leadership team taking turns to present this plan to the community and complete with a budget. After meeting with many community members and staff and the leaders, we came up with a conclusion from different resources that we definitely needed a systemic way of performing within the district. We strive no longer to be segmented in our schools, that we are all working together in a coordinated fashion. The way that we're going to make a huge difference on our performance impacts is to work in tandem with one another. So this is a nice, was brought by Principal Parker from Crease River Elementary. She did a great job of designing this for us, and it looks very nice, so I compliment her. It has our mission statement, our vision, and then the 8 keys of excellence that we will be bringing to you via quantum learning. Okay, the purpose of the West Bonner County 2023-28 strategic plan gives us the roadmap to take our district on a journey towards academic excellence. To do this, it requires all team members, internal stakeholders, and community partners to get on board as we embark upon this journey together. Every member of our school district has the capacity to eliminate disparities and embrace our pathway to educational excellence. We know that the time is now to act with a sense of urgency and the desire to ensure that our graduates are college and career ready for the expectations of the 21st century. To accomplish this, we must ensure that our students are consistently at the center of our work, decision-making, and mission. It is through collective and focused energy that we will fuel the whole system transformation needed to the good of all of our students. This plan will therefore keep us on track towards achieving our specific action-oriented vision of success in a time when it is all too easy to get distracted by today's politicized culture war. We invite you to join us on our pursuit to strive for greatness by reading through, internalizing, and envisioning the compelling future that this strategic plan will bring. We believe it provides us all with a better understanding of our challenges and opportunities, our core commitments and purpose, and makes clear the urgency of our work in key priority areas in order to stay on track. On behalf of the entire West Bonner County team, I invite you to join us as we embark upon this incredible opportunity. And we are still, as you can see, we're still putting edits to the theme. So this is a draft. This will be posted tomorrow on the West Bonner County School District webpage, so you can go through and read this in its entirety. Point of action of this plan. The strategic plan is based upon a theory of action best structured as an if-then statement. Our plan of action connects the goals and objectives to specific strategies and outcome measures. It's how we create change and ensure that students will achieve when all stakeholders work together and we are clear about who does what and why in the district. The graphic below shows the plan of action implementation. If we define the district's strategic intent, set the organization's direction, coherently organize the system, provide the roadmap to do so, then leaders and teachers will have the necessary knowledge and tools to improve learning for all students, resulting in educational excellence across all 5 schools. Who and what informed the strategic plan? The sources. We did interviews, observations, questionnaires, data analysis, SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. 3C meetings, listening tours, documents, administrators, board members, staff, community members, teachers, students, and parents. The plan is organized like this. The strategic plan is organized around 6 specific areas. We call these pillars. The first one being instruction and learning. The second one, communications. The third one, culture and climate. 4th, technologies. 5th, transportation. And 6th, facilities. In each area, specific strategies have been identified along with action steps that will guide implementation of this plan and make the district stronger in each specific area. Our goal will be to initiate the action steps according to the timeline set forth in the strategic plan. Near the end of the year, we will begin evaluating our progress and making changes where needed. Such evaluation and action, therefore, will allow us to update each of the 6 areas and realign action steps to reset the plan to sustain the next successive 5 years. This will provide for a continuous 5-year direction. The strategic operating plan will be closely monitored by the administration and the school board during each year of implementation. The strategic operating plan is a document that sets priorities and will give our school district a clear direction over a continuum of 5 years. As we focus on these priority areas, it will be very exciting to work with staff, parents, students, and community to make this plan become a reality. Even more exciting is the impact that the strategic plan will have on our students' education in the West Bonner County School District. So for the first pillar, which is instruction and learning, we have chosen the anchor to be quantum learning. Quantum learning is not a curriculum. Quantum learning is how we are asserting instruction. And this program will bring continuity starting in kindergarten and follow through all the way to the 12th grade so that we are using strategies that are the same from year to year to year. They're exciting strategies that will be implemented in the classroom, utilized so that kids can expect certain things from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. That be a character education program called the 8 Keys of Excellence. It also provides strategies that helps kids remember certain things. A lot of music is incorporated in quantum learning. Teachers are shown how to use a plethora of teacher tools that will help kids with different learning styles, kinesthetics, oral, all of the visual. There's all of the senses that are involved in teaching directly to how kids learn best. I can give you an example that, especially at the elementary level, a lot of music is used. We have an entry strategy where children come in, they're greeted, music is playing, they're welcomed, and when the music starts to fade, they know that it's time to sit down. And then they have the teacher will come to the front or wherever the teacher is at the time. The students will simply repeat that. And then they use this thing called the whoosh thing to congratulate everybody in the class. So they will choose one student. Once that starts the class, the kids will turn around and they'll select anyone in the room and they'll go, whoosh. And they'll point to one certain student. Maybe somebody was having a hard day. They knew that somebody came in having different problems. So they're recognizing each individual, and even during the class when a teacher asks, hey, let's give so-and-so a whoosh, because they answered a question. This kid might have never answered a question a day in his life, but we drug him to the court, we got him out there and he answered a question. Let's give him a whoosh. Whoosh. So everyone is recognized. It's a constant interaction and engaging way to teach, where kids get excited and they're always commended and they're always congratulated for their efforts. It's just a very dynamic system, and I could go on about it all evening long. The thing that you will see tomorrow when you go online, you can learn all about quantum learning. It's got the descriptions. It's got the 8 keys of excellence that are heavily used to create character, build character. Those are integrity, failure leads to success, speak with good purpose. This is it, make the most of every moment. Commitment, make your dreams happen. Ownership, flexibility, balance. And then the final page talks about each of the pillars, or the pillar for instruction and learning, and how this becomes the anchor. This takes you through what the teachers will be taken through in their training this coming August. We have a trainer coming. She'll be working with the elementary teachers for 2.5 days, and then she will be working with the junior high and the high school teachers for 2.5 days. And this pretty much identifies what those teachers will be learning and doing during that instruction. These are the performance indicators that we use at West Bonner County Schools, the assessments that the kids are taken through. A lot of those some of those are achievement tests. The ones that the state use are the ISAT and the IRI. Those show achievement gains, and those are the ones that we don't always like, but they're what the state uses. So instead of, complaining about them, we're just going to rough it through. We're going to white knuckle those poor kids through those tests. We're going to hopefully see results with all of this good stuff that we're doing together. And then the other ones, some of the ones that we do use are screeners, but the ones that we're going to be focusing on this thing are the ones that the state are going to hold our feet to. And that would be the ISAT and the IRI. West Bonner County School District goals. These goals are aligned to each of the pillars. And with the pillars, there are 6 pillars, and therefore there are 6 goals that each pillar is designed to meet. The evaluation of the district goals. District goals will be strategically tied to the annual goals for the superintendent, myself, principals, and teachers. Each September, measurable objectives, which are different than the goals, measurable objectives are the ones that we say what we're going to do and how we're going to improve performance. So each September, measurable objectives and outcomes will be devised in a concerted effort by the leadership team and teachers together. Further, the outcomes and objectives will, by design, be systemically coordinated so that all persons will be working in tandem to reach the overall overarching goals of the district. Annually, measurable objectives and outcomes will be presented to the West Bonner County School Board during the first board meeting in September. The outcomes will be evaluated by all stakeholders each spring. Evaluation results will determine our course of action and the roadmap for the next year. So these are the charts that we have developed for student achievement. This is the ISAT and the IRR scores. And we're waiting until this spring when we get our new results in. And that's when we'll get together in the fall, the teachers and the leadership team will set targets for these different areas for showing our achievement. We will devise our objectives that say by the spring of the following year, we want to show this much gain in each of these areas per grade level. And those will become our targets. Okay, so he didn't put, I don't see that the spreadsheets. Is there another page for this, for the spreadsheets?
He said that if you click on the purple pillar, it will come up.
Okay.
I don't know if you can do it with that. Stephanie might have to do it for one or 2 days.
Click on the purple pillar.
Yeah, there.
Okay, so each of the pillars, starting with instruction and learning, has a spreadsheet. And each spreadsheet shows the action steps that the team will be with the teachers, and it's hard to read, but you'll get a copy of this. The action steps that we will be taking, and how we will monitor progress, and the responsible person or groups who will be carrying out each of these action steps. So this is what we will be doing together in our work sessions. So we have teaching and learning. You see there's a lot. We have communications. We have school environment and school climate. Technology. Transportation. You can see we're getting a late start on that one because of all of the troubles that we have, but Daryl's doing a good job of getting ready for all of the moves that we're making for transportation. And we have facilities and improvements and capital renewal. Now, this is a very interesting point of all of these spreadsheets is, for the community use, we are right now in the middle of devising budget sheets for each of these spreadsheets. So instruction and learning on the back will have its own budget spreadsheet so that the community can come and see where your tax dollars are going and how exactly they're being spent. We will have then a budget spreadsheet for communications, one for culture and climate, one for technologies, one for transportation, and for facilities. So that anytime any interested community member wants to go to that plan on the website, or you want a hard copy, you can come to the district and get a hard copy. You can see the budget for each of those and how the monies are being spent. Now, you should know that 1/3 of our budget relies on a supplemental levy. And it is critical, and I'm telling you, it is critical that we don't have the rug pulled out from under our feet at this time. Supporting the school district right now is crucial, probably more than ever, because we have a wonderful opportunity and we have a guaranteed direction that we are going and that we promise that we will be following, that you can track our progress. So I am asking for support in keeping our budget going and supporting our levy. The things that we are not able to afford with our general budget that we are going to propose a levy for will be attached to each of the budgets. It will show what the levy dollars are going to be targeting and what they'll be used for. That in essence is the 5-year strategic plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Okay, at this time, we need a financial update from Treasury Report. Business Manager Pavey, please.
Attached are is the district cash report and the student body report, cash report. Are there any questions?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Okay, no questions? Okay. Next, we move to the comments from the audience. This is the,
It's 4 days on the agenda. These should be off.
okay. First up is Paul Turco. Yes, please. Okay, do you have the timer?
Oh, these are 4 day too.
Before I begin, thank you guys very much for what you do. It's not an easy job, it's not an easy task. Please take this out of respect and concern. Hello, my name is Paul Turco. My wife Jessica and I have a second and fourth grader at Priest River Elementary. I have a responsibility to stand here tonight and give my opinion. I'm the only one who can give my opinion, and I'm not here to share it by others, but I think it may be. I have this responsibility for my two students to do what I think is right. Your decisions are for the entire district, and therefore is gravely more important to make the right ones. Part of the reason I'm not sure if others share my opinion is because the survey results have not been shared. Tonight's agenda states that there will be a vote on a 4-day school schedule and transportation. How does a community come together if they're divided by the unknown? I believe a lot of our decisions have been based off of fear of the unknown and quite frankly have become quite hypocritical. Let me explain. We hear a label and because it is unfamiliar, we are scared of it. We want to eliminate it, make it not allowed or not on my watch. Some other examples of things have been eliminated from schools are God. That has not worked out well. Then when I was in school, there was a DARE program to eliminate drugs from schools, but we still have students getting an education of those on the streets. We have tried to eliminate guns from school, yet we have more school shootings than any other country. The point I'm trying to make is that by trying to eliminate something from our schools, it can backfire in the exact opposite of what is desired is achieved. The hypocrisy is when another label like quantum learning is promoted. It is about getting out of our comfort zone, and it's expressed as a positive. I really like a lot of the principles of quantum learning. I feel they are very valid and can be very beneficial. But when the unfamiliar and getting out of our comfort zone, be adopting some of these unfamiliar labels. It may seem like I'm talking more about curriculum and not the 4-day work schedule, but doesn't it make more sense to pick a curriculum before limiting our options? American classical education sounds great, but it's a 5-day curriculum, and it was for a K through 6 district, and wouldn't work for our district now when it is needed.
Okay, time's up.
I have about half a page left. Would you allow me to continue, please?
That's your call. We need to preface probably next time that it's public comments, 2
But if you got
minutes.
a half page, go ahead and finish.
Yes, sir, thank you. The community has been tasked to get more involved, and we must get more involved and do more. But hypocrisy comes when we put our time, money, resources towards it, and it is seemingly pushed under the rug and not considered. There should be a give and take, not a voice that comes off louder than the rest. This is not leadership, it is bullying. We all want what is best for our kids, our schools, and our district. We need more buy-in from this community, and that has begun with giving us the information. Making decisions behind closed doors isn't fulfilling the responsibility the school board has. All of these curriculums have the golden rule in common: treat others the way you wish to be treated. They all have validity, and the truth is there is no easy button and not one is going to work. It is going to take compromise and a blending of them to make it work. If we run from things that scare us, we will never learn how to face them. Our students will not know right from wrong. If we are in a battle of good versus evil, good will not win if you pretend that evil does not exist. Give our students and staff the right tools to do good. The right decision is not picking and limiting to a 4-day school schedule. The right decision is not to eliminate local jobs for our community that needs to work together. The right decisions on both of these votes tonight are no. The 5-year plan sounds great as long as we don't sabotage it in year 1. Thank you very much.
Clarification, the survey, the second survey and these things were supposed to be for public viewing on the website.
Okay. Next up is Daisy Schneider.
Everybody, I also have 2 or 3 kids in elementary school, and I am against the 4-day school week because I sort of lived through it when I was in high school. I was in trade school, so we had many days they went from 7:30 till 4 or 5 o'clock. We all have fallen asleep in class. We all have lost focus, and then when you come home, you don't feel like doing your homework, or you don't have time to have any kind of social life. So it was very hard going through this, and I don't want my kids to go through the same thing. And like, you can ask most of the kids what is their favorite part about school, and a lot of them will say it's PE and recess, and there's a reason behind it, because that gives them a break of just the hard stuff they have to go through every day and learn and read and all that stuff. And my kids had the privilege to attend a little preschool in town where their teacher had very short days with them, but in that short time, she was able to teach them more than they could learn in school. So my 4-year-old could read, and now in kindergarten, he's doing stuff that his brothers in 2nd and 3rd and 4th grade are doing, and he's just excelling just because he had those short days. They're short and fun, and he had the energy when he came home to do a little extra work and read. And now the kids have this incentive to read 10 hours to earn Silverwood tickets. And it's a struggle because they come home, they're exhausted, they gotta read, and then they have sports practices or games to go to, and it just calls for a really long day. So this is just my opinion and my experience.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Next up, Haley Scott.
Hi, I'm Haley Scott again. I'm a lifetime member of Priest River and proud to say so. I'm also the mother of 2 children who are current students at Priest River Elementary and 1 coming up. I want to take this opportunity really quickly to just thank the teachers at our elementary, bare minimum, because that's the only experience I have so far. My girls are polar opposites. One of them is on the struggle bus to success, and we are pushing through and we are trying our hardest. But the 2 teachers that she has had, have both committed to her and given their very best, and I appreciate that to the ends of the earth. I have sat in multiple meetings for hours on end with them, trying to figure out what to do to best help her succeed. And without Mrs. McConville and Mrs. Hubel, Ryan wouldn't be where she is right now. And I just really am appreciative of that. My other daughter, on the other hand, humble brag, is a pretty bright little star. She's a kindergartner, but early on in the school year, her teacher, Mrs. Pettit, recognized that Blake was doing great things and had potential for that. She was on the phone with me quickly saying, hey, I think we need to push her harder. So she immediately moved her up into a 1st grade class during reading and that curriculum. And I appreciate both of those ends of that spectrum so much because they're able to identify my kids' needs and my kids' strengths and then address them. Without the support of those teachers, I wouldn't have the skills and the resources to do all of those things. I'd like to think I'm a good mom and I'm doing my best, but without them, we'd be lost. So thank you to the teachers of our district. Secondarily, I want to address the 4-day school week. And I want to just recall our attention to the presentation from last Wednesday. We as a district, I may stand corrected, but we are actively looking at making a change to a new curriculum. And in that presentation, Steve Lambert stated that a 4-day week could not be conducive to the classical educational model. Given that knowledge, that a 4-day week would not be conducive to that curriculum, I think it's best that we hesitate on our decision tonight and wait until we choose a curriculum. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next up is is it Darcy? Is it Douglas?
Oh, Dana.
Dana, sorry.
Hi, I'm Dana Douglas. I am a member of the community for over 35 years. I had 2 kids, went through, and now I have 3 grandbabies on their way. So I didn't plan on speaking today. I thought I knew this was going on, but boy, I felt compelled to get here. I really, really want to make sure that this board understands that we have a very diverse population of children. I'm not here for my kids. I'm not here for my grandbabies. I'm here for those kids that can't speak for themselves. I'm here for those kids that if you take a day away from them, they may be sitting in a cold house. I'm here for the kid that if you take a day from their week, they may not get food. I'm here for the kid that will sit at home alone and not have any interaction. That's why I'm here. A 4-day week doesn't affect my family or my grandbabies because I have a warm home and I have food in the cupboard and they will be loved and they will be nurtured. But it affects my neighbor's kids, it affects your kids, and it affects their kids. We are a community, we stand together, and we do what is right and what is best for the youth and the children of this community. If you don't want to do what's best for our kids, you shouldn't be sitting on this board because you have an obligation to do what's best. I was on the committee that went and researched 4-day school weeks many years ago. Not one educator or teacher, not one said it was better for the students. You will get a substandard education. You will not be able to do the same curriculums. You can't fit it in. I think the other thing you forget is how big our district is. From point A to point B, you're putting those kids on the buses too long. I just really would like you guys to remember, this is about everyone's kids.
Thank you. Okay. Next up, Steve Hurst.
I'd actually like to stay over here so that I can see you guys and you can see me, because I'd like to address the board, not the community.
Well, we need to pick it up on the mic so we can, because it's live.
Did my 2 minutes start already?
No, not until, no. No, it's not.
At the last school board meeting, concern was raised regarding the lack of input from high school students regarding the 4-day week.
Excuse me, could you state your name for the record?
Steve Hurst.
Okay, thank you.
As a graduate from Priest River Lomana High School that held a steady job during most of my high school career, I feel you are doing these students a disservice by not taking their opinion into consideration. Many of them are already balancing real adult responsibilities while also attending school. It was also stated at that meeting that students would receive a survey. I have checked our high school students' school email with him multiple times and still have not received anything regarding the 4-day week. If you want to get a real feel for actually what's going on in our schools, you need to listen to educators, parents, and students, not the outspoken minority, that never step foot in our schools except to attend school board meetings and hold signs. Another concern I have is regarding contracting our buses. As a business owner, I'm baffled that you are still considering this. We all know that when our buses are sold and the contract's up, the price is going to increase. And at that point, we will not have the funds to buy a fleet of buses. One last thing I would like to touch on, and this is mostly why I wanted to stand in front of you guys, is something the superintendent said at the last 3Cs meeting. As someone who attended kindergarten through senior year in the district and a 4th generation Priest River resident, I about fell out of my chair when she said, quote, "Our teachers need an attitude adjustment," unquote. I feel that was very unprofessional and an embarrassment to our district. I'd like to publicly thank each and every one of our teachers. Many of them are here tonight, and I thank them with all my heart for doing the very best for our children. I thank you. I appreciate you. I know so many of us appreciate you. And thank you for sticking with our great little community and putting up with a superintendent and a school board who do not support you.
Okay, next up, Hannah Hurst.
My name is Hannah Hurst, and I'm speaking regarding the presentation that Steve Lambert gave on American Classical Education, which will tie into the 4-day week. And I have no doubt that this curriculum is working great in his charter school. He showed some excellent numbers on how it is making a positive effect on the students. Please keep in mind that these parents are choosing this school, but there are other public school options available in their area. He also made it very clear that parental involvement is key to that curriculum working. My husband and I have 2 kids in the district. They started here in kindergarten, are now in 7th and 9th grade. We have spent countless hours volunteering in school, everything from reading to kids, helping with math, testing in small groups, copying for the teachers, helping with class parties, and on and on. We have also attended every single parent-teacher conference. I'm here to tell you that any parent who wants to be involved is already involved. If they want to volunteer, help in class, help with their child's homework, they already are. Implementing a curriculum that requires more parental involvement will not bring more parents to the school to be involved. He also made it clear that this curriculum should not be implemented with students over 7th grade. He said that the charter school he helped set up lost half their 8th graders in their first year. So what happens to my 8th grader next year and my 10th grader next year? What curriculum will they be using? Also, what about families who are moving to the district? If a junior high school moves in, they're doomed to fail with a curriculum that will not work for him, according to Steve Lambert, the expert on this curriculum, because they did not start it in elementary school. There's no other public option in this district. By adding that curriculum, any new family would have to struggle through a curriculum that's not recommended for their child. During the meeting where the board voted to rescind the last curriculum, Trustee Brown specifically stated that one of her reasons to rescind it was the difficulty in an already struggling district. This American Classical Education seemed very much more difficult, according to Steve Lambert, than the one that they had sent back. Also, the board is moving very quickly to switch to a 4-day week. That curriculum he was adamant that that would not work with a 4-day week. If the district is planning on this 4-day week, that curriculum needs to be removed entirely from the consideration. If you can see through the flashy presentation, the flying flags, the patriotic songs, and the pictures Steve painted of an educational utopia, I'm sure you can see that that curriculum is not suited for a public school district in which there are no other public school options.
Thank you. Okay, next up, Annie McMahon. McMahon? Huh? No.
Hi, I'm Annie McMahon. I grew up in this community. I was born in Newport, brought home to the home my mother was raised in. They moved to Priest River when she was about 7 years old. Longtime community member. I have 2 children in this district, and I'm a teacher, but that's not why I'm here. My 3rd grader and 7th grader need me to be here. I understand the reason for the 4-day work week. We've got some things we need to be able to do as educators. We need to learn quantum learning. We need to have time for our district meetings that don't take up from 3:30 to 5. I did a little bit of math, and currently we have 3 in-service days in our district. We have one coming up in February, we have one in May, and we have one in October. If we have an in-service day a month, that's 9 days. If part of that time is quantum learning and the other half is meetings, it would work. I looked at my kids' schedule, it's 168-day school day currently. That's what it says on our calendar. Minus the 6 extra days, we would need for those meetings would be a 162-day school day. Then I said, well, kids go to school, Allie goes to school, my 3rd grader, from 8 to 2:25 at 168 days. How many hours is that? But the state doesn't work in hours, they work in crazy minutes for whatever reason. Comes out something like 64,000 some odd minutes. Well, if we took those same exact minutes and divided it over 162 days, it's only adding about 15 to 20 minutes onto our current school day. That would mean once a month, one Friday a month designated for quantum learning in our meetings could happen without taking a wrecking ball to the current system. It was also brought up that our maintenance could do more maintenance during that Friday time. So that got me thinking, well, does maintenance always have to work during the time our kids are in session? Can't they come at 3 o'clock and work from
hop later into the evening. Why do we have to give us that Friday? Just wondering. Thank you, board.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with that, the rest of these are. These are non-agenda items. Bring those up later. Okay, next, I need a motion to bring to the floor consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to bring the consent agenda to the floor.
Okay, Trustee Hall makes a motion. Who seconds?
I'll second that.
Okay, Trustee Barton seconds. Okay, discussion?
None at this time.
Okay, approve the minutes of the previous meetings?
It's usually all a packet all at one. Consent agenda is the whole thing.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the minutes, bills, new hires, and resignations.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, the motion carries.
Who provided the second?
Okay, moving on to old business. We have policy reading, second reading. I need a motion to bring that to the floor.
I'll make a motion to bring the second reading of policy 3518, treatment of opioid overdoses to the floor.
Okay, Trustee Hall makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Trustee Barton seconds. Okay, discussion?
Chair Rutledge, the one comment that I have is I think we can delete the note that says this policy is only intended for the school districts with a school nurse, et cetera, which is in bold at the top. The other part is I would make a motion to accept the policy, the second reading of the policy as is, except with that revision.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, those in favor, or do I hear a second for Trustee Hall's motion?
I'll second.
Okay, Trustee Barton second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Okay, action item, decision regarding the transportation options. Do I hear a motion to bring it to the floor?
I'll make a motion to bring the decision regarding transportation options to the floor.
Okay, Trustee Hall makes a motion to bring it to the floor. Do I hear a second? Okay, Vice Chairman Brown makes a motion to bring it to the floor, or seconds. Discussion?
I think do you have a, Chair Rutledge, do you have a report to give on this one?
Yes, there are currently three options in front of us. The first option is to keep what we have intact with the addition, not only do we have a Director of Transportation, but we would also have a dispatch and a, what was the other thing? Mechanic, thank you. Because in the past, one person has filled all three slots, and that caused, that is an unsustainable condition. We have a single point of failure with one person. So the first option is to keep our current bus transportation department intact with the addition of two additional people. The second option is to keep the bus barn intact and outsource the driving, okay, to fill vacancies. And the third option is to outsource all of the bus operations to an outside supplier. So that are the three options that we are considering tonight. Any other comments?
Question of clarification, you said on number 2, outsourcing the driving or filling in the drivers that we don't fill it in the drivers
I'm
that we
sorry,
don't.
I misspoke. It would be filling in holes with the drivers.
So we can hire our own.
Correct.
We would hire, in that one, we would hire our own, but then fill in the drivers with outsourcing.
Everything stays the same as it is right now, except that we get substitute drivers from whoever till we can fill the spots.
Okay.
Right. And in addition to our comments, Jacob Iverson is here from Harlow's. Would you care to speak at this time?
Sure thing. That is a bright light. Good evening, my name is Jacob Iverson. I'm a Bonner County resident. Thank you, board and superintendent, for the opportunity to speak tonight. Harlow's is glad that we've been able to support the school district in a time of need to provide stability and transportation, as well as resources and other components to help continue the transportation plan today. Change is difficult. Change is always difficult. I hear about that. In the spirit of continuous improvement, stability of the transportation is key for any school district. You provide resources and support, not just through the home to school transportation, but also through field trips and activities. Outsourcing student transportation provides many benefits, which are sometimes quantifiable and some are not quite realized to the public and outside. Fact, contractors in Idaho transport over 65% of the students in the state of Idaho today. One of the key things of trying to measure the balance between outsourcing or keeping something internally is understanding the total cost of operations to properly compare. I would ask you to use a cost analysis tool that's been recognized by a federally and used within the state of Idaho to understand the true cost. There's costs such as insurance. There's costs such as vehicle and buildings, benefits, which includes inside and outside, which is work comp, payroll work, HR work, training and compliance, entry-level driver training, which is federally required, as well as adopted by the state of Idaho and the Department of Education requirements. There's facilities, administrative costs, and HR, and many more things. There are different models, and I ask you to make sure you take a full understanding of what those are. As a senior vice president of the company, I understand that there are full turnkey as an option. There's also lease driver options that you can outsource that as people transition. There's also, you can retain that in-house. I would ask you again to please understand the total cost of operation. I know that there was a couple bids that came in for that, and I was pleased to say that Harlow's bid, in my comparisons, was the best solution for the school district. Some of those benefits I'll highlight. $10 million of insurance for protection of the school district as a whole. Purchase of equipment, there's been concerns I've heard about that in the past. It's fair market value, and also we provided detailed insight by asset to help you improve the status of those equipment. We're willing to purchase the parts, stop supplies, tooling. Willing to invest over $30,000 to do that. We really need to have is a radio repeater to improve your communication system throughout your network. Your school district is very large. I've heard a couple people talk about that. You need to have communication with your buses when you're transporting those areas, and we would be doing that. The concern about employees currently, we worked a couple different models. We've had that, we've sustained and grandfathered in current employees, and we've transitioned employees in school districts, but we've also gone the other way is create a transition incentives and then help offset the benefits that they're receiving from the school district with increased wages. And in comparison, that's close to $8 an hour. Full operational support. I'm glad to hear that you're looking at the options of trying to have a transportation leader, call the title what you like to, a dispatcher and a mechanic. It's very important to have that. Some of the benefits that Harlow's has is a dedicated recruiter, safety manager, HR manager, and much more that can benefit the school district. If you do not go with the contracting or some type of hybrid, I would strongly encourage you to look at your model and your plan to see what's best. One of the things of contracting, you can add back service. You can add back routes. You're at 16 routes. You were down to 10 when we were at one time. We are down to 10. I think you're at 12 now. We've been able to help. I think you can add back a Laclede route, which improves service and also additional resources to support field trips and activities. You've not been able to do that. I live in the county. I also officiate sports, and I do give back. Under Idaho Code 672806, procuring of services, we followed all those requirements. We followed all those different components, the school district and the board. I applaud you for making sure you take the right protocols towards that. One of the things of outsourcing partial services, it gives additional transportation services as needed or if needed, as well as vehicle support, maintenance services, and also transportation knowledge and solutions. I can tell you that I sit on the Idaho board and different pieces and transportation models. I believe in the transportation. It's blood into my body. I like it. I bleed a little yellow, maybe different yellow, but I do believe it. You're up to a tough decision tonight, but I would ask you to please make sure you understand total cost of operations because there are a lot of hidden costs, and take your time. Thank you very much, and I'll be available for future questions.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have our interim transportation director. Did you want to comment? Okay, perfect. Okay, any other questions?
No, not at this time.
Okay. All right, so we have three options in front of us. Keep what we have and employ a dispatcher and a mechanic with a director. I ask for a motion on the floor for that.
I was gonna see if I would, if you
Go
want to
ahead.
make, I was gonna make a motion for, I was gonna bring a motion to the floor for the director, mechanic, and dispatcher, but figure out the budget for that, because if we just go put the motion out there, we do need to know what the budget
No,
is
yeah,
gonna look
no,
like.
I should backpedal on that.
But I would say that I would look at, I guess, further understanding, just in case we don't have enough substitute bus drivers, I would be interested in that, going with option one, but filling in if we needed substitute bus drivers, maybe from,
That would be option two.
yeah, so maybe
Okay.
a hybrid. I would make a motion to make a hybrid, but we need the numbers on the director, mechanic, and dispatcher.
Okay, so the motion on the table is to go with option two, which would be a hybrid with subcontract drivers filling in the routes.
And
that means you get a dispatcher and a mechanic.
maybe I would look at having us pencil out those numbers and then do the final approval once we get all those numbers.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I would look at, is put that on the table. That would be I would like that option. My motion is for option two, but to add to it that I would like to see the budget that goes along with that.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, is that clear to everyone?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's a good compromise.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. We'll go with option two.
Okay, and I just wanted, just wanted to thank Carlos for the effort and time that they've supported us to get us through this crunch, and also take the time to put the RFP together, the proposal together. I mean, that was greatly helpful.
I agree. Thank you, Jacob. Okay, what's that?
So then they'll be continuing to help us.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, sir?
If I may speak to the board on that way, our emergency contract has expired. And so right now, they're exposed, both of us, so we do need to find an agreement to our
understand what that looks like according to your passing of option 2. To make sure you stay in compliance with the purchasing of services. I did my own research for that. There's a way for that. I do have a copy of the code for you tonight that I can provide to the clerk. But there are processes you have to do for that, because we do have currently 3 drivers working for you.
Okay.
And we need to make sure that they are taking care of what that looks like through the end of the school year, because that could cause some disruption in your current status.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Next up, decision regarding 4-day school week. Do I have a motion to bring it to the floor?
I'll make a motion to bring it to the floor.
Okay. Trustee Hall, regarding 4-day school week to the floor. Do I have a second? Trustee or Vice Chairman Trustee Brown makes a second. Discussion.
Well, I liked the report that Trustee Hall had put together on looking at several different school districts and their comments of once they had implemented this, they knew that this was something going forward that they would stay with, that it had been beneficial to their school districts. I think they gave a lot of information for us that we didn't have before, and I found it helpful.
Thank you. And is it okay to do a little recap of that research that I did?
Yes, please.
And just let the people know it is up under the agenda. The survey, the second survey that that was run by the curriculum or not curriculum, but the calendar
Committee.
The calendar committee, the calendar 4-day committee is actually up on the website, as well as on our agenda, as well as this report. And what I ended up doing is reaching out to a total of 6 different trustees from 6 different districts around the state. They were all in the 3A league. They were basically the same size as we are. They were different regions around the state, and I asked them 11 different questions. And they ranged from when they started from 2006 all the way to this year. And I think some of the things that, I guess would say come out of that is that once you go into it, even they went into it, a number of them went into it for retention of teachers. And there was, when they did the surveys, there was definitely more, a greater percentage that wanted to go into 4-day. When I look at our survey results, we're kind of split 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 almost of who wants to go, who's undecided, and who is against it. They had on the 5th, I did ask about the 5th day, what they did. They did on professional development. They also they had concerns about the elementary school kids going home. So, or kids going home without food because of the food security issues. Some of them did send kids home with a knapsack. Some of the school districts had a weekly, Fridays were a weekly study hall. And I think they did that as if, gave extra money, compensated staff for doing that. It did not. There was not a plus or a minus for student performance. You'll see on my report, I linked each of the school districts I talked with to their report card. It was all across, it was basically very close to the same. It was, I'd look at it and we were all about the same in terms of performances on whether they would be our test scores or our performance measures. So there wasn't really any gain. I think that what they saw was the retention of teachers. Facilities or transportation savings, there might be some, but for us, if we run our school facilities 24/7, we really don't have that same savings. Our savings for 4 days, 2 to 4%. What they were seeing is the savings was 2 to 4%, not what they were seeing. Again, it was retention of teachers was a big one. There were people definitely concerned with the long days. For the younger, especially the younger kids. And that was the longer days. you know, that was a problem. I also asked about transportation and who had the same geographic area as we did. Nobody had an hour and a half or more. And that was my consideration because my zone is zone 1 and it is up to Priest Lake. Those kids are on the bus for an hour and a half. So that gives me great pause on it. But that is something I asked. Nobody had the same, these kids did not, you know, nobody was the length that we have. What else? Snacks in the afternoon, extra, you know, if the students needed extra assistance, they were gauging that. A number of the districts, a handful of the districts, I should say, went back and after a year or two went back and surveyed, and basically they got higher percentage that people did like 4-day. We also talked about the competitive edge of 4-day. I mean, we look at, this is one thing, we look at 4-day and the retention of teachers, but so many of the school districts are going with 4 days. So the competitive edge is 4 days is not the panacea it used to be. And then the other thing is I did talk to McCall School District that was surrounded by 4-day, and I wanted to know why they didn't go 4-day. They were still on 5-day. And the reason that they gave is the teacher, the chair that I talked with there said that she came from elementary school. She was administrator, and now she might have been a superintendent at one point, but she's now in the chair. And she said, luckily, McCall has the money to pay their staff correctly, and so that they don't have to go. They've got ample funding, and they can pay people. And she's not seeing the data for student performance, so that's why they're not going, even though they're surrounded by it. So I did ask her, what do you think about extending the number of days versus the hours? And that perked her up a little bit. She thought that was of interest. So rather than adding more hours, but our survey is contrary to that. The survey results that were done by the committee, the calendar committee and the 4-day committee kind of show that people weren't as excited about extending the number of days as they were the number of hours. But it could be, you know, if a kid leaves here and you add 55 minutes to the day, when you get home up north and it's an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on the road, that could be a very long day. So there, it is online. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out who exactly to talk to. I had 3 others I would have liked to have talked with, but they didn't get back in touch with me. So small sample, but that's
Okay.
what I got.
Thank you. Any other comments?
What was the percentage? You said a third and a third and a third, right? Pretty much. I think that was the last survey that I saw.
I mean, I think in these other school districts, the teachers pushed it, you know, wanted the 4-day, but in some ways, we brought it forward. So it's a little different in that to look at it for retention, but that's, you know, that was part of it.
Okay. Any other questions?
Well, part of our concern initially too was because of the expenditures to the district. And in looking at a 4-day, what would that, you know, dollar, how would it affect it to, you know, our bottom line?
And they said pretty much across the board, it wasn't the savings that they thought it was 2 to 4%. And that's what the research is coming up with. Like Rand, I posted a 1-pager with research there. And Rand looked at, the Rand research actually did look at, it's a lengthy study, 5 states, 4-day, that are going 4 days. They looked at food security, social, economic issues. They looked at performance, tiredness of students. Ironically, which I was sort of surprised, they found that 4 days, the kids were actually sleeping on the 5th day and catching up on sleep.
Yeah.
You know, that was sort of an interesting.
I liked your report because it brought up some things that I don't think people had thought of initially.
So, but that's, And some of them I asked how long it took them. One of the people I asked in Weiser, who was a new school board member, and she voted against it, and that's why I called her or got hold of her. It was too fast. She came on the board in, January last year, and they made a decision by April, and she thought that was too fast. Others did go through community surveys, did go through teacher surveys, did go through community forums. And some of these things we've, done. And that was, again, I think it was the long days, for the youngers, making sure the kids have maybe food who don't have that, that issue, that might be an issue for kids when they get home. And then, again, what happens to those kids on the 5th day if, their home situation is not maybe as stable as some of the others. So,
Okay, if no other questions, the motion on the floor is to, do we accept a 4-day work week? And this is the only thing we're deciding. How we implement the calendar is another decision. So do I hear a motion on the floor to accept or to vote on 4-day week? Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
oh, we need a second.
Oh, I'm sorry, second, okay. So the motion on the floor is to, for the 4-day week. All those in favor, say aye. 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 Those opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so the motion carries 4-1. The calendar committee will determine the length of the school year.
So,
You don't work for the HEB at all. Community says no, you say yes. Wow.
Shame on you.
Bad decision. We're here to support you guys. Bad decision. There goes the levy. We're starting it next year. Sorry for that.
Thank you, Margaret, thank you.
Yes.
We appreciate all that you do.
All right. Next on the agenda is policy first reading. Need a motion to bring it to the floor? Yes. Okay, we bring it to the floor first, then we make a motion. Okay. Quiet, please. Okay. Vice Chairman Brown makes a motion to bring it to the floor. Trustee Reinbold seconds it. Okay, there's a motion on the floor to table.
you need a second, right?
Yes.
I'll second. Okay.
Okay, all those, okay.
I needed, if you put these off again, they still need to be taken care of.
I agree.
And I think they're very quick. I chose, initially when I put this agenda together, I chose the ones that should have been the simplest to go through. And so that's my 2 cents on that.
Okay, could I make a recommendation? That we do a what do you call it, synopsis or a brief summary of the change, where the change came from, why we are changing it, whether it's a rule change or legislative change or a procedure change in the district, or we're fixing an error.
Oh, boy. I can give you the would you like me to run through quickly, see if I could do that? Or no?
Could we have it ready by next meeting?
It's already in the summary. Okay, I mean, it's already in the summary that was provided to us by ISBA. They gave us a quick summary. What I put in here, and it could just be, maybe this is, maybe I could amend the budget, or amend the motion to say that, that we only look at the ISBA policies with their changes and use those as the ones that we look at and then react to and make changes to versus the comparison between ours and ISBA's. Maybe that will be shorter than trying to do this, because right now, why the packet was longer was that, was the fact that there's both the ISBA changes and then afterwards is what was our existing policy.
Okay, I understand. But what we could do, there's a motion on the floor to table this till next meeting. Could we have the brief summary next meeting?
And just let you know, there's like 5 or 6 others. You've got library materials, curriculum materials still on the board. I would again amend that and say that it would probably be best just to do a work session for these policies, maybe before the next meeting, put on the table a work session to go through these policies and the curricular ones, the library materials, selection of library materials, curriculum materials, learning materials. There's a whole section that is not been addressed yet.
Okay, perfect. All those in favor of, okay, the amendment or the motion on the table is to table this and move it to a working session.
With the other, policies that we have not considered yet.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the motion carries.
Do we have a date that we're gonna set a date that we wanna have this work session?
Do we want to set a date now or later?
What we have done in the past is put the work session before the next board meeting.
Okay,
The monthly meeting. I would suggest maybe making a little bit more than an hour, maybe making instead of 5, making it 4:30 or 4, and then being able to have a break, because there's quite a packet and it'd be good to get through, because then there's going to be spring policy.
okay.
May I add that the board also said that the finance committees would be suspended for board work sessions, and so that date would also be that board work session typically is.
Okay.
I think that maybe we should have all of these policies on a different day,
Okay,
just because we have so many to get through, and Wednesdays are a really long day.
okay, so do we want to make another work session? We want to keep the finance work session prior to the 15th, the February 15th board meeting?
So it would be a budget session, right? Budget, what you would call it is a budget workshop.
Okay,
A finance work session.
so we do a finance work session on the 15th. What day of the week would be good for policy review workshop?
What about February 7th?
A Tuesday, let me see.
That works for me.
I think that works. That looks like it's a good.
Does that work for you?
I suggest maybe.
Well, no, I'm talking to Stephanie.
I have
Can we
to
do-
hold it, but I can rearrange.
On that meeting on the 7th, can we do that at 4 o'clock? Yes.
Will 4 o'clock work on the 7th?
I can make it work.
Okay. Okay, 4 o'clock it is.
Okay, on the 7th?
Yes.
And then the 15th, on the, before the board meeting, we will have a finance work session, or whatever we're calling it.
Yes.
Okay.
Are we scheduling on the 7th for 2 hours?
I think I would think given the packet that if you want to look at everything that's we put on hold, because it's the library materials, the curriculum materials. I mean, it's basically, there's a bunch of things that And it would be basically, we can't make any decisions. A work session's not a decision-making
But it's
session.
just going through the policy so we understand.
And then
Okay.
we could put it on the, then we could put it,
Redlined and tagged.
Okay, then we can put it on for the next agenda. Okay, okay, let's go with that. Okay, okay. Are we clear on that?
Thank you.
We're okay? Are we clear?
Clear on what?
February 7th?
At 4 o'clock.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Next on the agenda is comments from the audience that are non-agenda items. The first one up is John Wyatt. Okay. Ann Welder Chamberlain.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
I am Dan Robert. I'm very disappointed that you went with a 4-day week because I wanted to thank you for the presentation on quantum learning and classical education. And I was really hoping to see us head that direction towards classical education. I was so impressed with the presentation. I hope you will decide to pursue these educational choices so that we can graduate, ladies and gentlemen, with an education to impress the nation. So I don't know where we're going to be able to go with that at this point. I think that kids coming in, I think there was some unclarity about one of the comments, which was, what are we going to do with our 7th through 12th graders, and what about kids that come into the district? As a dance teacher, I know that when we introduce kids 3/4 of the way through the dance program, the kids that already know the dance bring those kids to their level. I've seen kids come in to 4th grade, which is a dance that is a routine with 8 moves, and they change partners. And I've seen girls come in the week prior to the performance and were able to perform because the other kids that are there and are already doing it, you know, it's a peer pressure thing, really. And we'll be able to get those kids coming into the district. They'll catch right on if everybody's doing it. At the meeting last week that I was so impressed with, he said that the reason why he didn't start with 7th and 8th graders is because they weren't brought in from the beginning. I teach 2nd graders how to do partner dancing so that by the time they get to 6th grade, they are already used to it. Okay, you can't accept, with the exception of Idaho Hill, you can't just drop partner dancing in on 6th graders. They won't do it. But Idaho Hill has different 6th graders. They did. But that's because they saw Mr. McMahon do it, and so they wanted to be like him. So anyway, I am hoping that maybe some way you can figure out how to bring this classical education in, because I was totally impressed with the presentation last week. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Rick Kramer.
she's seeing it. Well, I think she's seeing if he's there. I don't know. Maybe not.
Not? How about Jennifer Kramer? Oh, okay.
Is that it?
I don't know if she's on. Okay.
And if we can come back.
Leanne, I wait. I can't pronounce her last name. Okay. Okay, they're gone.
And then
That's it.
I would ask for any, if there are any other people who want
Yeah,
to speak.
are there any other people who wanted to speak? Yes, please.
2 minutes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome, awesome.
Yep.
My name is Jill Whitford. You've probably heard me speaking before. Just because somebody says you cannot do a classical education over 4 days doesn't mean it can't be done. The world was founded upon doing things beyond what we are told can be done. So if we have a will, whatever we choose to do as a district can be done. We just have to make a decision what it is that we want and find a way to implement it. I've seen the survey that Margaret spent so much time doing, and so thank you very much for doing that, and I looked at it. Processed it, got my little pea brain figuring out what the heck it was all about, and realized because the student retention didn't seem to change a whole lot, then you could very easily implement a curriculum. I'm a retired teacher. I spent elementary, junior high, high school. There isn't any way that you can't make the schedule work for every grade on a 4-day thing. There has to be compromises. We have to do what's best for everybody in the district. And I truly believe that we can bring a different curriculum into a 4-day. I don't care what Steve Lambert said, just because someone else hasn't done it doesn't mean that we can't. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Board reflection and roundtable discussion. Draft strategic plan.
I guess that was only there just in case we needed to follow up with what Jackie's presentation. Again, Jackie, when is the, it's January 27th, you're at the high school, right? At what time? 8. Okay. And
okay.
That's just present to all the teachers, the 5-year strategic plan. And then on, I believe it's February 8th, what day is that, on February 8th?
7th, we just decided was a Tuesday. 8th, I think, is a.
The 8th is a
Wednesday.
community rollout of the plan. We'll have the budget attached to it.
And then are you hoping that the board is going to approve it with the budget in February? Is that what your hope is? Okay.
Okay.
Where, what time? 6.
Yeah. For the junior high?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments about the strategic plan? Okay. Board committee monthly special meetings. We already talked about a couple of work sessions. Do we want to discuss the committee meetings, or do we want to wait till later?
I guess I'm wondering about negotiations and confer and meet. That probably has to wait till the budget kind of
Okay.
gets hammered out a little bit. And I think it's Wilma, at least on the negotiations for the certified, needs to probably, she
Okay.
may need to contact us, and, you know, there's a give and a take.
Okay, so we'll flesh that out, the committees, and figure out the meetings for those. We typically, on the facilities, Ken sets those up. The monthly meetings, we've already talked about. Special meetings, we've already talked about, and the work sessions. So that's it. Need a motion to adjourn. Okay.
A second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Took as long as the windows out of my truck yet, or?